Let's start with the organization. Primary and secondary schools are compulsory and given by the government. Cuban children start with círculos familiares until they are 5 years old and then they go to the kindergarten. On primary school, from 1st to 6th grade, students take math, Spanish, English, and computing. And then they, on 6th grade, take science, history, and geography of Cuba, and labor science. Basic secondary goes from 7th to 9th grade. There, students ask for the career they want to study. Then they take an exam, and according to the results, their careers are assigned. After this comes the baccalaureate. From 10th to 12th grades, contents intensify, and the students choose between 4 kinds of sciences to go deeper. They can be technical, medical, social, and pedagogical. Finally, they can go to a university, or they can get a technical professional degree. Now, May is going to tell us about the history behind.
The Cuban educational system was heavily influenced by the Cuban Revolution. For example, during the Cuban Revolution was implemented a project called Brigadas de Alfabetización. The objective was to teach the entire Cuban people to read. It was so important for their history and for their educational system because if all of people that live in Cuba know to read, all of them could understand what was happening in that moment. That shows how important education was for Cuba.
Literacy. The first step to education was literacy campaign. In 1961, in the government of Fidel Castro, literacy was carried out in 1 million illiterate people with the help of 250,000 teachers and students. The government provides teaching supplies to volunteers, for instance, 2 textbooks named Let's Teach Literacy and We Shall Conquer. Finally, the literacy rate increased from 77% to 96%. Apart from this, Valentina will speak about universal access.
Okay, as Andrea said, the government started a big campaign on literacy. This campaign increased the numbers of students enrolled in schools, but also the government presented a special program for rural girls, for women domestic workers, for prostitutes, and for all the girls that left their school before graduations. Those programs, together with the daycare centers, have the aim of ensure the education for everyone. And these efforts are visible in these numbers. For example, since the 90s, the percentage of scholar admissions is the 99%, in contrast with the 87% of Latin America. Other example is the 94% of students concluded the 5th grade in Cuba, compared with the 74% of other regions. And finally, the percentage of enrollment was the 78 for boys and 82 for girls, while in other parts was 47 and 51. And now Nata gonna talk about the professor.
Teachers are the most important for the Cuba's education system. Therefore, teachers' academies use the most advanced and documented teaching methods and strategies in the world. Also, the student-teacher ratio is 1 teacher for 12 students, so that education can be more personalized and so you get better education system. For you to be a teacher in Cuba, you must have at least these 4 characteristics. First, you must be a clever person. Second, you must have a good character. Third, you must be willing to contribute to social development. And fourth, of course, you must get along with children. Now, my partner Yuri will talk to us about education for social change.